Once there was a young maiden whose name was Snow White. She had skin as white as snow, lips red as blood, and hair as black as ebony. Her mother was beautiful, but she couldn't bear others surpassing her beauty. She had a magic looking glass that would only speak the truth. She stood before it and asked, "Looking glass upon the wall, who is the fairest of us all?" "You are the fairest of them all," it replied. Now Snow White was growing to be prettier and prettier, so pretty that she could surpass her mother. The queen went to the magic looking glass and asked the same question she had asked before. Then it answered, "Queen, you are full fair, it is true, but Snow White fairer than is you." The queen was furious at hearing this, and then began to plot against her rival. At last, she had sent the huntsman to take Snow White to the woods and put her to her death, then bring her heart as a token. The huntsman, however, when he led Snow White to the woods, he took pity in her and spared her death. Snow White swore to the huntsman to never come back and fled to the woods. As the huntsman was coming back to the castle, he killed a boar and brought his heart and liver as a token. The queen thought Snow White was dead and feasted on the liver and heart that the huntsman brought. Snow White found a small cottage while running to the woods. She went inside, but because of her hunger, she had eaten every porridge and wine that was there, and after that, she slept. By dark, the owners of the small cottage came back. They were 7 dwarfs that had an occupation to dig underground the mountains. They found the sleeping Snow White and were astonished. When Snow White had finally awoke, she saw the 7 dwarfs. Snow White explained her situation. Then the dwarfs offered for her to stay, but in payment she must do all the housework. Snow White agreed. Before the dwarfs would leave for their work, they warned her of any strangers, for it could be her mother. The queen went to the looking glass, felt sure that now she was the fairest, and asked the same question. It answered, "Queen, thou art of beauty rare, but Snow White, living in the glen with 7 little men, is 1,000 times more fair." The queen had begun plotting again for Snow White's doom. She disguised herself as an old peddler, selling silk and laces, and went to the cottage and knocked at the door. Snow White thought that she was a good woman. She opened the door and bought the pretty lace. She let the woman lace her, but the old woman laced her so quickly and tight that Snow White had suffocated. When the dwarfs found her laying without life, they cut the lace. Then she had begun to breathe again. They heard what happened and warned Snow White of letting anyone in their home. The queen had thought that she was good as dead and went back to the castle thinking now she was the fairest of them all, but her thought faded when she found out she was still alive. She went to the dwarf's home again, in disguise, as before, but now with a poisoned comb and put it in Snow White's hair. The 7 dwarfs found her and took the poisoned comb out of her hair. Then Snow White came to herself. They warned her again for strangers. The queen found out that she was still alive and was furious with anger, and plotted again, but this time with a poisoned apple. She disguised herself again and lured Snow White with the apple. She assured Snow White of no poison. She cut the apple and took the bite out of the white side and gave Snow the red one. Then she fell to the ground as dead. Now poor Snow White was dead, and the queen went home satisfied. The 7 dwarfs found Snow White dead once again. They looked for anything poisonous, but none was of avail. They laid her in a glass coffin with golden letters of her name, and put her coffin upon the mountain. One of them would always remain by it to watch. One day, a king's son rode through the woods and found the coffin with beautiful Snow White in it. He read the golden letters upon it, and asked the good dwarfs if he can keep the coffin with Snow White in exchange for the prince would put them to great honor. The dwarfs pitied him and agreed. While the son's servants carried the coffin, they stumbled over a bush which caused the bit of the poisoned apple out of her throat. She woke, threw up the cover, and sat up alive. She asked where she was. The king's son was full of joy and explained to her everything that had happened, and asked for her to be his bride. Snow White was kind and went with him. Their wedding was held with great splendor, but the wicked queen had also been invited to the wedding. She had no intention of coming to the wedding before she asked the magic looking glass the same. Then it answered, "O queen, although you are beauty rare, the young bride is 1,000 times more fair." The queen decided she would have no peace until she went and saw the bride, and when she saw her, she recognized her as Snow White, and could not stir in place of anger and terror. But they had ready red-hot iron shoes, in which the mother had to dance until she fell down, dead. The end.